Hi everyone, this is CSC 519, the milestone of deployment. So basically there are four components of the task. So in this video, we're going to focus on the last one, which is rolling update. Rolling update is the idea of you have several machines which are running parallelly. So basically, if you are updating one of them, you make sure others are still operational, so that when users come to your visit your website, they are still able to go to the normal ones which are still running, which is not gonna. This is keeping the website running, which prevents some unusual things happen. So basically, here we can divide this task into two parts. The first one was, as you can see in the specs here, we want to create 5 instances of iTrust, but we only have a single instance of the MySQL server. So basically, which means these 5 instances of iTrust server are connected to the same MySQL server. So first thing we're going to do is in this folder, as you can see here, I wrote a file called isolate MySQL.yaml, which is an Ansible playbook, in which we'll create a MySQL server. So let's run. Basically, it only contains a part of MySQL. So let's try run it. Ansible playbook. Isolate. So as you can see here, we have finished running the creating the separated MySQL server, and in the digital droplets, as you can see, there is MySQL server up and running. So the next thing we want to do is we want to copy this IP address, and when creating 5 instances of when creating 5 instances of iTrust, we want to modify the templates. Specifically are the DB properties um, and the Hibernate properties. So here we modify the IP address, and in Hibernate properties we also do the same thing. So after doing this, we were gonna still leverage the previous file called provision iTrust. This Ansible playbook is gonna create a instance of iTrust, and here, if you want to create 5 of them, you probably could do a simple shell script. So you have a for loop from 1 to 5. You run this file for 5 times. So let's try run this. So after running the shell script, we have successfully created 5 separated iTrust server, the name of which are the same because we didn't modify the name of it. So but the IP addresses are essentially different, and the next thing we want to do is the next part. As you can see here, we want to monitor the five instances, like how many of them are running, how many of them are updating, which means they're kind of done. So we in this project we extend a little bit, modified a little bit about the workshop in the monitoring. So in this monitoring, we have this main.js, which gonna bootstrap a server, a socket IO server, and constantly create a IP HTTP request to the IP we have to the IPs of the iTrust server. So as you can see, there are 5 of them, which are identical to the 5 of this, and we want to ping each time to the server so that we can know if they are running or not. So basically, as you can see here, the if statement tells us if it's running. So if we cannot get a response, or if we can get a response but the status code is not 200, which means this server is not running, it's updating. So, and this is gonna constantly every 5 seconds is gonna emit a data to the front end, and we're gonna use HTTP server to host a local server of the the index page of the dashboard. So let's try to run this script. We first bootstrap the server, socket.io server, and as you can see here, we received a connection, and we want to use HTTP server to host the website and app. And also, if you remember in the deployment, this section, we have done that a git hook, which gonna trigger a deployment building when we push code to production on this branch. So basically, if we push code to production, we are still hosting this front end page and this socket.io server. We're gonna see something like this. As you can see here, there are 5 of the nodes. Each of them represents a separated iTrust server, and if it's green, which means it's up and running. If it's red, which means it's it means that it's updating itself, because we cannot really get the HTTP response from it. So as you can see here, is in the console, it is constantly receiving this response from the socket.io server, which tells us the color of each of the node, because we have already done the if it's up and running, we're gonna return the green, and if it's not, we're gonna return the red color. So that's basically it. Basically, that's recap. To recap, it basically contains 2 parts. One of which is to create 5 instances and connect them to a single MySQL server, and the second thing is in the whole triggering deployment building process, we have this monitoring dashboard in which we can see exactly which nodes is up and running, which nodes are not. So that will be it.